Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and those who have yet to make up their minds. I am your host, justjack.com. That's www.jusst.co. Two S's, because one just ain't enough, honey. We welcome you to sign up for our newsletter on our website and look at all of our other fun stuff that we have going on. Let's get into this conversation because I am on a good one this morning. Today, I'm just going to share my own ideas, philosophies, the way I see things, belief systems. Now remember, my belief systems are my belief systems. And whether anybody else believes me or not, it really doesn't matter because my belief system doesn't require them to. And when we share things with others, we share our philosophies, right? And when you guys who are listening, you are able to listen and sometimes realize, whoa, I'm not the only crazy one out there. Jack goes through this stuff too. Well, Jack believes in this stuff too. Oh my goodness. And I thought I was the only one. That's why we share them, right? And that's why we go to things like this. That's why we listen to things like this. That's why we go to church. I like going to church, right? Because then I can listen to other belief systems and philosophies. And with the ones that align with mine, I can take them and put them in my pocket. And the ones that do not align with my belief systems, I just leave them right there at the altar, you know? When it comes to you take the meat and leave the bone. Okay, that's what it is. Just take what you want, leave the rest. I think that's what the best friendships are, aren't they? The best friendships are when we listen to each other and we help each other grow and we learn. I know a lot of church-going folk, they have the gift of gab. Hello. And they want to share all the knowledge and share all the good and share this and share that, but they start sharing fire and brimstone. They start sharing what you can't do, what you shouldn't be doing, and what you ain't been doing, and what you ought to be doing. You know, if those church-going folk, justcheck.com, if those people would put some cement in their toothpaste, shut their mouths, and listen to another, a stranger, who maybe doesn't have the same core belief systems as them, a stranger who may not have the same ideas and way of life as them, a stranger who may not be involved in any religious circle or social status whatsoever. I think we can learn a lot from those people. You ever talk to a homeless person? Go try it. Go try it. And listen, learn. Listen. Because when we listen to others, really, when you really think about it, what I like is that I can pick up other churches' philosophies, other people's philosophies. Like one philosophy I picked up over the years is, with God, all things are possible. I think that's cute. I like that philosophy. I'll take that one, put it in my pocketbook. Thank you very much. Yes, with God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. And then we adopt that philosophy and we start saying it over and over and we start understanding it more and we start experiencing it more. With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. Oh, I want this. With God, all things are possible. I want to go over there and do this. With God, all things are possible. And we do it over and over and over. And what does that become? That becomes a belief system. A belief system are things we've just been told over and over and over and over and over again. And what happens is that belief system becomes our being. That belief system becomes our natural way of life. So when someone says to us, oh, I can't do that, in our mind, we already know, with God, all things are possible. You can't do it, maybe. You, little small-minded individual. but you have the power to tap to reconnect with all that is within you, and with that, honey, you can do all things. Okay, just like you pick up good philosophies and you leave the bad ones behind. The philosophy of heaven and hell, that's not a bad one. That's actually a fun one. One time, my nephew Josiah Hezekiah, he was sharing with me the philosophy, his way of looking at heaven. And I was taking it in. Heaven is this. He was telling me, oh, heaven is a beautiful place, and all the angels are there, and there's this and there's that. And I'm saying, oh yes, honey, tell me more about this heavenly place. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then I'll add my 2 cents of what I think heaven is. I'll add my little 2 cents, and then. What did I say to him? Oh, I said to him, ooh, I love living, but I can't wait to go experience heaven. And then he said, wait, Nino, I thought you couldn't go to heaven. I said, why? Why can't I go to heaven? He said, because you're gay. And I said, oh, well, share with me your idea of where gay people go. And he said, hell? And I said, oh, little bird, hell is the gay's heaven. Because let me tell you, I love some wicked things in the 3rd dimension, and I love wicked things, and I even told him, I said, well, where do you think, I said, I said, you're talking about the Christian heaven, right? And he said, yeah, what heaven are you talking about? I said, the heaven that's for all of us. And I said, see, in the Christian heaven, there's no stuff for your Nino to do his wicked stuff. He said, like drink Fireball? I said, exactly. There's no Fireball in your Christian heaven. No. I don't want to go there. There's Fireball in your Christian hell, though. People who drink Fireball there. And then it started getting my mind racing to the Christian heaven. I do tarot reading. I'm not. There's no tarot cards in the Christian heaven. No, they're too scared of it. There's no table tipping in the Christian heaven. By the way, we've been doing table tipping, so book your table tipping experience. We do in real life table tippings, and you can do one person or you can get 2 friends to come with you, and it's a real fun experience. But that's not in the Christian heaven. What else do I do? I smoke, drink, and dance a hoochie coo. Okay, that is not up in the Christian heaven. So the Christian heaven is a philosophy that I really haven't adopted. I have taken some of the concepts from the Christian heaven, and I have taken the concepts and I have kind of planted those seeds within my own heart to say, okay, I'm the creator of my own reality. So therefore, I can also create my idea of heaven and my idea of hell. Either way, no matter what happens, if they're right, I'm going to hell anyways. But what happens if I'm right? What happens if my philosophies and my ideas are the only ones that matter because I'm the only one having my experience here in this physical reality, in this 3rd dimension? It's me. When you really think about it, you were born by yourself. You came by yourself. You were born by yourself. Even if you have a twin, you came and then the twin came, or the twin came and then you came. You came in by yourself, through the canal by yourself. You will leave by yourself. You will go back by yourself. So why does it matter that Joe Schmo down the street thinks that when you die, you just lay down in the grave and you fall asleep? Why does that matter to you? Who cares what Joe Schmo thinks? That's what happens when Joe Schmo dies over there. When Joe Schmo dies, he goes and he lays in a coffin and he sleeps. That is his idea and his philosophy, and you cannot take that from him. You can only impress We can only impress upon each other our own ideas, thoughts, and philosophies. And if they adopt them, okay. And if they don't, that's okay too. That's perfectly okay. Because right now, it's me, myself, and I. You, yourself, and you. Who is this observer? Let's talk about that. Who is it having the experience? Is it the physical body having the experience? Is it a spiritual entity having, in human form, having an experience? Who am I? What am I doing here? What is all this? Alan Watts shares the Quiet Observer lecture. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Alan Watts shares the Quiet Observer lecture. And in the lecture, I don't remember exactly word for word what happened in the lecture. Go watch it yourself. But I remember talking to my friend and saying, the way I see it, I just like being the quiet observer. I like watching everything going around me and just observing it. Not judging it, not having any emotional attachment to it, just observing it. One of my favorite sayings to myself is, well, ain't that interesting? I'll observe a person hurting another person quietly, observing it. I used to lash out and jump in. I don't jump in no more. Well, I haven't jumped in a while. But a person lashing out at another person, and all I can feel inside of me is shutting up the big black woman inside of me that wants to scream out and lash out and give my 2 cents to this person. But I don't. Instead, inside, the quiet observer in me covers her mouth and smiles and says, ain't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that this is happening, that they are choosing to treat that person this way? When another person is treating me a certain type of way, isn't that interesting? Okay, you can treat me that way. That's fine. You want to go ahead and act like a feral cat with me? Go ahead. Go ahead. Sure. Whatever. It's interesting. Tomorrow you'll forget it. It's going to be irrelevant. But anyways, the quiet observer, and there are many times I have to question, okay, who's running the body of justjack.com? What is that? I'm sure scientists can tell you what they think it is. I'm sure many religious structures can tell you what they think it is. Remember, science gets changed all the time. Religious structures get changed all the time. It wasn't that long ago you couldn't be black inside of a white church. So don't even start with me. It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago where you couldn't be gay in church. Now they need your gay money. So go ahead. You all are welcome here. Okay? Come as you are. And then let us change you to who we think you ought to be. Okay. Excuse me, I need to take a sip of some water because my throat. Does anybody have a Ricola? Just kidding. Turn to your neighbor and say, Ricola. Let's get back on track. When I am acting in real life, not acting, let me see. When I'm living my life, right? I like to say, in my God, I move and have my being. Live and breathe, live and move and have my being, right? So when I awaken in the morning, I go into my happy space and I start creating my happy space, and I have a talk, a little audio that we do. We give out Thursday audios where I answer different questions. Just some of them are 2 minutes, some of them are 1 minute, some of them are 10 minutes, some of them are 15 minutes. But in the audio, I talk about my morning routine and how it gets me to be the person I am throughout the day. And even though I'm that happy-go-lucky person throughout the day, I'm still, I find myself throughout the day consciously aware that I am just observing Jack in action. Sometimes the ego is running rampant with Jack's life, and I have to say, well, ain't that interesting that Jack is letting this happen? Look at Jack and that ego of hers. Oh my goodness. Is anyone going to stop her? Is anyone going to stop this? And then I'll see Jack's spirit step in. And then Jack is running by spirit. It's shining the light on things and loving people and being giving and nice and la 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 la. But then that bitch gets too much too. So then the rascal in him comes out, because there's only so much love and light and peace and harmony that Jack can take. Because if it gets out of balance, if the spirit running the body gets too much for him, his rascal will step in and say, let me balance this body back up. And the rascal will do things that the rascal likes to do. And I just have to, I'm the silent observer. I just have to watch. Ain't that interesting? You know how many times I've taken a shot, by the way? I've taken a shot and known you should not be taking this shot. And then inside I smile and I shrug my shoulder and I bottoms up and down the hatch it goes. Or you know how many times I've been in someone's bed knowing you should not be here. This is, you know that you shouldn't be here, and you know that this is not healthy for you, and this is very toxic. And then what happens? Inside the quiet observer, she says, ain't that interesting? And the person running the show, the Jack in third dimension, shrugs his shoulder and stays laying in that bed. And as the conscious, quiet observer, you can observe your life and know exactly where you're out of balance. Is the ego running the show too much? Is the spirit running the show too much? Has the rascal taken over? Who's going to calm that rascal down? Who's that? What part is that calms the rascal down? Is that a part? What character is inside of us? Remember the movie, what was the movie with the little girl with all the little people in her head, and the mom and dad have people in their head too? I forget that movie. I can see it clear as day in my head. But Inside Out, remember? And it was, isn't it? I think it's funny. I think it's interesting when we watch that movie. Go back and watch it, folks. I think what's interesting is the anger emotion in the father's brain is the main emotion that is in charge of the father. Remember, he's that anger. He's the leader of the pack. He's the one who gets the last say. He's calling all the shots. He's the one who's saying, "Hey, sadness, get over here. Hey, happiness, get over there." He's the one calling the shots. He's the one. He's the main emotion in the father's head. And then if we look at the mama, who's her main emotion? Isn't her main emotion is sadness or sorrow? What is her main emotion? Let me go look it up real quick. It's sadness. Her leading emotion is sadness. Isn't that interesting that sadness is running the mama, anger is running the daddy, and who's running the child, right? Which emotion is the main one running yours? Who wants to guess what my main emotion is? It's not happiness. I wouldn't call my main emotion happiness. I'd call my main emotion love. That's what my main emotion usually is. And happiness comes from that, and joy comes from that, and peace comes from that, and comfort comes from that, and understanding comes from that, and compassion comes from that. But love is leading the show. Love is leading the show. And like I said, sometimes anger gets taken over. Sometimes anger takes over the show. Anger will slap love right in the face and say, "Move out my way." Sometimes sadness takes over. And for me, I laugh as much as I cry, but being sad is an emotion that I used to want to shut off because I would say, I don't have time for this. But I pushed sadness inside of this big bubble so much that one day this bubble popped and I could not stop the waterworks. And I could not stop the I couldn't stop it. And I vowed to myself, I never want to feel that way again. So whenever sadness wanted to take over the show, I let her. And I'll tell people, I don't want to talk right now. I'm sad. And they'll say, is there anything I can do for you? I say, no. She'll cry. You know, sadness will cry. She'll take her time. She'll wipe her tears. And then she'll say, okay, happiness, your turn. And happiness will say, let's go have a shot. Anyways, I don't even know what I'm trying to say to you guys today. I went all over the place with what I'm sharing. We're already 21 minutes in. So whatever I share today, whatever my philosophies or belief systems that I shared with you today, take them like water off a duck's back. Take them as a grain of salt. Take the meat, leave the bone. Follow us on our Twitter because we've been sending out daily tweets. You can also text follow Just Jack with 2 S's. Follow Just Jack to 40404. And you'll get subscribed to our messaging system. If you don't have it, let us know. Or I think it's going to be in the YouTube description. Sign up for our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And once again, we welcome you. Come hang out with us. Let's hang out. You know, it's time to get belly to belly all over again. We're in the spring. Everything is brand new all over again, depending on when you're listening to this. But every day, we can be born again, like a snake sheds its skin. We get rid of the old and up with the new. So much love to all you guys. Subscribe to our newsletter. I will see you guys next Sunday. I'll talk to you later. Bye, Felicia.